Whipta if I take over planning my funeral from my very religious parents. Okay, so I'm just gonna dive into this mess because I'm at my wit's end, and I need some outside perspective. I'm 25, I'm dying, and my super religious parents are trying to plan a funeral that's basically the opposite of who I am. I'm thinking about taking control of the whole thing and putting it in a will to make sure it's done my way, but I'm worried I'd be the asshole for shutting them out. I know this sounds heavy, so bear with me. This is a long one, but I need to vent and get some advice. Filter at the bottom for anyone who doesn't want to slog through my life story. For context, I have cystic fibrosis. I've been dealing with it my whole life, so hospitals, meds, and breathing treatments are basically my normal. I've always known my time might be shorter than most, but I didn't expect it to be this short. About 2 years ago, I got my first lung transplant, which was supposed to buy me some time. Didn't take. My body rejected it, and after months of hoping and praying, well, my parents prayed, I mostly just cursed. We tried again last year with a second transplant. That one failed too. A few weeks ago, my doctor sat me down and gave me the news. There's nothing more they can do. They're keeping me comfortable, but I've got maybe a couple of months, probably less. I'm not gonna lie, it's been a lot to process. Some days I'm weirdly okay with it, and others I'm just pissed that I'm 25 and won't get to do half the stuff I planned. Anyway, I've been trying to get my affairs in order, which sounds so formal and weird to say. Like, I'm 25, I shouldn't be writing a will or picking out urns, but here we are. I thought planning my funeral would be kind of, I don't know, cathartic. A way to take control of something in this whole shitshow. But it's turned into a nightmare because of my parents. They're both hardcore Southern Baptists, like church every Sunday, Bible study on Wednesday, no drinking or cussing kind of people. I love them, don't get me wrong, but we've never seen eye to eye. Growing up, I was the rebellious kid who questioned everything. Why can't I wear jeans to church? Why is Harry Potter evil? Why do I have to pray before every meal? You get the idea. By the time I was a teenager, I was pretty much done with religion. I'm not like an edgy atheist or anything, I just don't believe in it. I'd rather live my life being true to myself than pretending to be someone I'm not. My parents never really accepted that. They've spent years hoping I'd come back to the Lord, as they put it. Every hospital stay, every bad test result, they'd say it's part of God's plan and I just need to have faith. Meanwhile, I'm over here chugging whiskey when my lungs allow it, and adopting stray cats with my husband. Oh yeah, my husband. Let me back up. I met Jake 3 years ago at a bar, of all places. I was out with friends, he was playing pool with his buddies, and we hit it off over our shared love of bad puns and IPAs. He's the best thing that's ever happened to me. He's not religious either, which is a huge relief, and he's got this quiet, steady way of keeping me grounded when I'm spiraling. We got married last year in a quick courthouse ceremony because, well, we knew time wasn't exactly on our side. My parents weren't thrilled about the no-church wedding, but they showed up and put on a smile. Jake's been my rock through all this, but even he's struggling with this funeral drama. So here's the issue. My parents want to plan my funeral, and their vision is straight out of a Baptist playbook. We're talking open casket viewing, hymns like Amazing Grace and How Great Thou Art, a graveside service with a preacher reading scripture, and prayers every 5 minutes. They've already started dragging me into it, like last week my mom showed up with a freaking catalog of caskets. Catalog? Like I'm picking out furniture. She was all, "Honey, this one's oak, it's very dignified," and I just stared at her like, "Mom, I'm not being buried in a wooden box." Then my dad started talking about which verses from Psalms they want read, and I had to excuse myself to go lie down because I was so overwhelmed. They've also picked out flowers, lilies, because apparently that's traditional, and booked a meeting with their pastor to discuss the service. I didn't even know about that last one until my sister mentioned it. Here's the thing, none of this is me. Oh, I don't want a depressing, formal funeral where everyone's singing hymns and staring at my body in a casket. I want my memorial to be a celebration, you know? I want people to laugh and tell stupid stories about me, like the time I got stuck in a tree trying to rescue a kitten, or when I accidentally dyed my hair green before a job interview. I want upbeat music like my favorite indie bands or maybe some classic rock. I want pictures of me and Jake and our cats everywhere. Speaking of cats, we have 3, Luna, Pickles and Sir Meowsalot, and I want them at the service. I know that sounds nuts, but they're my babies, and it'd feel wrong without them. I also want confetti cannons or something ridiculous like that because I love a bit of chaos. And most importantly, I don't want to be buried. I want to be cremated and put in a cat-shaped urn. I'm dead serious, pun intended. I even found this hilarious urn online that looks like a chubby tabby cat, and it's perfect. I also had this idea. Okay, hear me out, that I want my ashes split up and given to my closest friends and Jake. Not like dumped in a table for everyone to scoop up, but in little vials or pendants or something. I love traveling, and I thought it'd be cool if they could take a piece of me with them. Like, my friend Sarah could take me to Paris, or Jake could scatter me somewhere we always wanted to go, like New Zealand. I pitched this to Jake, and he got this horrified look, like I just asked him to commit a felony. He was like, "Babe, I love you, but I'm not handing out your ashes like party favors." I laughed so hard I started coughing, but I'm still kind of into the idea. I tried to explain it better later. That it's not about giving everyone a piece of me to keep or take somewhere meaningful, but he's still weirded out. I get it, it's a lot, but it's what feels right for me. The problem is, my parents are not on board. Oh, I tried bringing it up with them last week after the casket catalog incident. I sat them down, told them I appreciated how much they care, but I want a funeral to reflect who I am. I pitched the celebration idea, the music, the cats, the cremation. Kept it light, didn't mention the ashes as party favors thing because I'm not that dumb. My mom started tearing up and said, "Can't bear the thought of me being cremated, and how burial is honoring the body God gave me." My dad got all stern and said a funeral is for the living, and they need a proper service to find closure. I tried to compromise, like, okay, maybe we can have one hymn and we can do some fun stuff too, like a slideshow of funny pictures. But they shut that down. My mom said, "This isn't a party, it's a funeral." And my dad added that they're not going to disrespect my memory with some circus. Circus, like wanting confetti and cats, is the same as hiring a clown. I'm so frustrated. I get that they're grieving and I hate adding to their pain, but this is my funeral. Shouldn't I get a say? I've spent my whole life trying to be true to myself, even when it meant disappointing them. And now it feels like they're trying to turn my death into something that fits their beliefs, not mine. I've got 2 siblings, and they're no help either. My older brother, Matt, is basically a clone of my parents. He's 30, married, goes to their church, the whole deal. He called me the other day and said I should let mom and dad handle it because they know what's best. I wanted to scream. My younger sister, Ellie, is 22 and more like me. She's not super religious but still goes to church to keep the peace. Is torn. She told me she loves my ideas and thinks they sound like me, but she also doesn't want to rock the boat with our parents. She's worried about how they'll cope after I'm gone, especially since she'll still be living nearby and dealing with them. Jake's in a tough spot too. He's 100% on my side about wanting the funeral to be me, but he's also dreading the fallout. He said, "I'll do whatever you want, but I'm the one who's gonna have to deal with your parents afterward, and I'll be a mess." I feel awful putting him in that position. He's already grieving, and I know he's trying to be strong for me, but I can see how much this is tearing him up. I suggested we could get a lawyer to write a will that spells out exactly what I want, so it's legally binding and he doesn't have to fight my parents alone. He nodded but didn't say much, which usually means he's stressed. I haven't pushed it yet, but I'm seriously considering it. So, here's where I'm at. Whipped if I took over planning my funeral and made a will to enforce it. I've tried talking to my parents, I've tried compromising, but they're steamrolling me. I know they're hurting, and I don't want to make this harder for them, but I also don't want my last act on this earth to be a lie. I want my funeral to be a reflection of who I was. Loud, messy, full of love and laughter, and probably a little inappropriate. I'm not trying to disrespect their beliefs, but I feel like they're disrespecting mine by ignoring what I want. I'm also worried about Jake and how he'll handle the aftermath. I just want to spend what time I have left enjoying life, not fighting over caskets and hymns. I never thought dying would be this stressful, and I'm so over it. I should add, since I know someone's gonna ask about the ashes thing. I don't mean I want my ashes handed out like candy at a kid's birthday party. I just want my closest people, Jake, Ellie, a few friends, to have a small vial or something they can keep or take somewhere special. It's not about being morbid. It's about staying connected to the people I love. I know it's unconventional, but so am I. Oh, and one more thing. I've been reading all your comments. Well, I will when I post this, I guess. And I'm so grateful for any advice. I'm trying to live my best life right now, doing something new every day. Tomorrow, Jake and I are driving to the Everglades so I can watch him freak out on an airboat. It's gonna be hilarious. I might not reply right away because I'm not glued to my phone, but I'll get to everyone eventually. Thanks for listening to my rant, and please tell me if I'm being unreasonable here. Edit. Forgot to mention I've got a meeting with a lawyer next week to talk about the will, just in case. Also, my mom texted me today about picking out a headstone, and I'm losing my mind. Send help. Second edit. Wow, I didn't expect so many responses. Thank you all so much. I'm reading every comment and trying to reply when I can. I'm taking notes on what I want and planning to sit down with my parents again to try for a compromise. I know funerals are for the living, but I want mine to reflect who I was, not who they wanted me to be. I'm still open to meeting them halfway, so wish me luck. Also, the Everglades trip was amazing. Jake screamed like a kid when an alligator swam by, and I haven't laughed that hard in weeks. I'm off to live my best life, so I'll check back when I can. You guys are awesome.
Update. Hey everyone, it's Jake. I'm writing this with a heavy heart, and I'm struggling to find the right words, so bear with me. First, I want to say thank you. Thank you all for the overwhelming love, support, and kindness you showed my wife after her post a few weeks ago. Your comments, messages, and stories meant the world to her. She was blown away by how many people took the time to read her story and offer advice. She'd read your responses with this huge grin, laughing through tears, and it gave her so much joy in her final weeks. I'm sorry this update is a bit short. There's a character limit, and I'm trying to fit in everything she wanted to say. The most important part is her message to you all, which she wrote herself. I've copied it exactly as she left it, word for word, because that's what she wanted. My beautiful, cat-obsessed, foul-mouthed, incredible wife passed away last week. I'm still processing it, and I don't know if I ever will fully. She was my everything, and I'm just trying to honor her the best I can. Below is her note to you, Reddit. I'm going to step back after this. Grief's hitting hard, and I need some time. Thank you all again. Much love. Her message. Reddit. If you're reading this, I am dead. Pretty crazy to be talking to a dead person. It feels a bit strange to be writing this. If this feels a bit disconnected, I'm sorry. I have to take frequent breaks as I get tired pretty quickly now. My husband offered to write these words, such a sweet him, I know. Be nice to him, okay? But I wanted my last words to be written by me. Long story short, we talked to my parents. A lot of people asked about why my husband wasn't planning the funeral and my parents were taking control. Honestly, my parents didn't take the news of my passing to come well, and I suppose their closure was to try and take control of what they could. I'm not angry at them for it, I understand. They had already prepaid a large portion of the service, and to put it plain and simple, it was a shit hand they were dealt. So we talked to them. I laid it all out for them, and somehow, we reached a compromise. Lots of tears, lots of hugs, and surprisingly, lots of laughs. They admitted that they had been losing their faith with everything that had happened, and their way to attempt to find it again was to take control and guide me into the afterlife. Not my thing, though, and I explained that I am not them, but their daughter who wanted to live her last weeks in peace, not the turmoil they were putting me through. And while a lot of people stated that funerals are for the living, true, I firmly believe that a funeral is for the living to remember that person as who they were, not what anyone else wanted them to be. My parents seemed to understand when I told them that. They were not on board with the party favor aspect, though. Kind of a bummer. Pretty lucky to plan my own funeral, honestly. But now that that is all said and done, thank you guys. I was blown away by the responses. I was moved to tears, and I wish I had had the chance to meet every single one of you. You all be good now, aight? Take it one day at a time and fucking enjoy yourself. You only get one life. Unless you're someone who has survived death, then you're just a fucking hero and probably a cat with a few lives to spare. I love you all. I'm resting easy now. This disease sucks, and I'm happy to be rid of it. And laugh and love and cry and be sad. Shit happens. I gotta go now. I'm gonna go snuggle my husband and my cats. Keep it real, Reddit. Love you all. Understand. Underscore. A little more from me, Jake. I don't want to add too much because this is her moment, but I feel like I owe you all a bit more context since you were so invested in her story. After her post, we took your advice to heart. A lot of you suggested sitting down with her parents again, maybe getting a mediator or writing a letter, and we went with a family meeting. She was so weak by then, but she was determined to hash it out. We invited her parents, Ellie, and even Matt to our place. It was awkward at first. Her mom brought a pie, like that would somehow make things less tense. But my wife, she just went for it. She told them how much she loved them, how she understood they were hurting, but how their plans were making her feel erased. She said she didn't want her last days to be filled with fighting, but she also didn't want to leave this world feeling like she'd been turned into someone she wasn't. There were a lot of tears, like she said. Her mom cried the whole time, and her dad got quiet, which is his way of dealing with big emotions. Ellie stepped up and backed her, which was huge. She usually stays neutral to avoid drama. Matt was stubborn at first, saying funerals are for closure, but even he softened when my wife started talking about what she wanted her legacy to be. She told them about the celebration she envisioned. The music, the cats, the laughter. She showed them the cat-shaped urn she'd picked out online, and I swear, her dad almost cracked a smile. They didn't agree on everything. Her ashes as party favors idea was a hard no for them, and she let that go. But they came around on the big stuff. We agreed on cremation, a memorial with some of her favorite songs mixed with one and they wanted, and a slideshow of her life, including all the goofy moments. Luna, Pickles, and Sir Meows-a-Lot will be there, though we're keeping them in carriers to avoid chaos. No confetti cannons, sadly, but we're doing colorful balloons instead. The compromise wasn't perfect, but it felt right. She was so relieved afterward. She told me it was like a weight lifted, and she could finally focus on living her last days instead of stressing. We made the most of it. Went on that Everglades trip, binge-watched her favorite shows, and spent a lot of time just cuddling with the cats. She was happy, even when she was tired. The last few days, she was in hospice at home, and she passed peacefully with me and her family by her side. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's been hell without her. But knowing she got to leave on her terms, with her voice heard, makes it a little easier. I guess I just want to say thank you again. You guys gave her the push she needed to stand up for herself, and you gave her so much joy. She'd joke about being Reddit famous, and kept saying she wished she could hug you all. I'm going to make sure her memorial is exactly what we planned, and I know she'll be smiling down on us, probably with a whiskey in one hand and a cat in the other. I'm signing off now, but I'll carry her spirit with me always. Love you all, and like she said, keep it real.